All right, welcome to episode 12. Episode 12. Uh, as I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm doing a series going from being a buyer of sneakers to becoming an owner in some way. So, what way is there today that we're going to get into becoming an owner? Well, you should start designing shoes. If you like shoes that much and you're a decent artist, even if you're not a decent artist anymore and you have some computer skills and you can use Photoshop or some other Adobe Suite program and you have a Wacom tablet and you can sketch on a tablet or with the new Surface, you can sketch on those. You can start playing around with colors. You can start spray painting shoes. You can do all kinds of different things to turn yourself into an owner and not just someone who's buying kicks. So, what are some of the ways that you can get started? Let's look at these. Um, if you are really good and you've been drawing and sketching for a while, you have the Dwayne Edwards led Pensole Academy. So if you look at where my mouse is moving here, pensole.com, it's a great way to start and start working on um, developing your skills. But it's an admission process to get into Pensole. They don't just take anybody, and you know, don't be disheartened if you're not selected. But you can start looking into it, and you can also start just sketching and putting your pictures out there and letting people look at those pictures. Now you can also do custom kicks. Now here's a Mache, right? This dude is like, I guess everybody would consider him one of the best in the custom business. But there's another guy named Fred. He's on Instagram and he's doing some fantastic work as well. But there's so many people out there that are customizing shoes and taking shoes and making them their own. And that's another good way to get into the process of becoming a owner and not just someone who's always buying sneakers. Now you can also design sneakers for yourself and move into this type of category. Here's one of my folders on my computer, and it shows basically the process of me working on different shoes, right? And I sketch the shoe out, and then I take the shoe and I send it over to my manufacturer. Once we have a rendering done, you see all of these different pictures, and then you see the writing comes back and it's in Chinese, and then I have to ask them to translate it. And what we end up coming up with is a product. Now, I never released these shoes, but here's the shoe I know you like. Well, where's the shoe? Well, here's one of the shoes that you'll see in these pictures that are clicking through. And the reason I'm showing you this is that I think what happens to a lot of us is we're like, oh, well, you can say I can do this, I can do that, and then, nothing ever comes of it. Well, the reality is, if I say that you can do something, then I need to prove to you that it can be done. This shoe actually started with, where's this sketch? I'll get to it in a second and you'll be able to see the sketch is coming up. I don't want to just hold you guys hostage while I'm going through here looking for the sketch. There it is. Boom. You see the sketch. Now, obviously, the outsole changed. I didn't even end up making the outsole that you see on this picture at all, but the shoe came to fruition. Now, I never made this shoe because this was a project that I was working on with 361, who used to be the sponsor for Kevin Love. And Kevin Love is now back with Nike. But 361 is one of the biggest shoe companies in Asia, in China. And this was a project I was working on with them. And they wanted me to order a case. And at the time, I couldn't afford to do 2,400 pair of shoes. So I made the samples in a number of different colors, and it kind of fell apart. But I went on and I ended up making the running shoes and a few other shoes. Now I could eventually go back to this shoe, but who knows? It's there for me to do. It's an option, and sometimes you just have to have options. But that's all in this episode. I'm not going to keep you guys this long. This is another episode. This is basically me saying, start designing shoes. Start coming up with your own ideas and don't just be a consumer. That's the whole point. I want you guys to develop into more of being an owner in the sneaker business. Learn the business. Learn the business. Learn how to talk about the business. Learn how to look at the stocks. Learn how to talk about designing. Everything is there for you. The world is wide open. And if you just sit down and put a little thought behind it and then ask some questions, you can get to where you want to get to. That's it for this episode. Wrap with you guys later. Peace.